Okay, let's see what's up. First, we're gonna go to Bitcoin. So it does look on the 1 hour chart, if we have broken above this downward sloping trend line, we have not closed an hourly candle above this trend line, but in 13 minutes we will close. If this candle in 13 minutes closes above this downward sloping trend line, I would be bullish at least for an uptrend to this high over here, the previous high. This would be the next level of resistance. It doesn't mean that the bear trend is over. Once we have closed above this high over here at 70k, I have an idea that we might go to 70k and then go lower. We've been making lower lows. We're waiting for unless we make a higher high, we're still in a downtrend, in the short-term downtrend, and I'm still expecting around about a 20% pullback. The markets will react on that if we grind down slowly. I think the altcoins will bleed out heavily. I'm hoping that we can quickly wick down to here, and then the pain can be done and over with, and we don't have to come back down. But if we grind down slowly, the chance is also bigger that we might go even lower. Up until now, this entire bull run, since the beginning of last year, we've only seen 20% corrections, and that's why I'm betting on the 20% correction. But there is resistance, I mean support sitting at 63k, there's support sitting at 60k, and a little bit of support sitting at 57k. Ethereum probably just lagging behind. If we draw a downward sloping downward trend line over here, I think I'm missing the mark a bit over here. It's a bit more difficult to draw this line as it's already broken out. Maybe we're zoomed in a bit much. I'll go to the 4 hour chart, see if this is a clearer downtrend. So this is a little bit better, but we're not breaking above the downward sloping trend line, and we have before. So this Ethereum is not looking as bullish as Bitcoin, but again, I think it's lagging behind. So I think we can expect this if Bitcoin breaks above and confirms this candle. This is now the 4 hour candle. It needs another hour and 10 minutes to close above here. So that the higher time frames trump the lower time frames. You'd rather want to see the 4 hour candle close above this line. The 1 hour candle closing above that line might still be a fake out, but it would be a bullish entry on the 1 hour if this closes above this line, trading it up to 70k. Then we are looking at AXS. AXS, this is it went into the resistance at 13 to 14k, rejected, came back down to retest the breakout point. This is a downward sloping trend line connecting the highs from back here. Let me zoom out a bit on the 4 hour chart. This was Jan 2023 high connected to December 2023 high. It took some work and we broke through that, made it to the top of the channel, and now we're just coming back down to retest. If Bitcoin goes up now, I believe we should also get back up to around $11.80 at the bottom of this descending triangle to backtest. We have already backtested, but we might just backtest again. That would be the next level of resistance for AXS, $11.80. I do think this line will hold up the price. We might see a bit of sideways consolidation, and that would give us good build up, good support to eventually break through $13 and $14 in the next coming weeks or months. Ron on March 24 broke out of its all-time highs, went higher in this upward trend channel, but broke down over here, tested the previous high, went back, retested the bottom of the channel of which it broke down from, and then came back down making lower lows. But we're still above the previous all-time high at $3.60. If the $3.60 line does not hold, we could dip to $2.80, $2.50. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to consolidate above the $3.60 mark. Also with some sideways action, building up support in order to go higher. But for now, we are making, on the short time frame, lower lows. So we should expect a lower high. This was a lower high. We should expect another lower high. Unless we make a higher high, we're in a downtrend. SLP. SLP in a short-term downtrend. All of these candles have this one little candle on the 1 hour and 4 hour looking like it wants to go up. It's following what Bitcoin is doing. So I don't think you need to look anywhere else but on Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin moves, you can expect the other coins to move in conjunction. I think the next level of resistance for, support for love potions would be 50 cents. I don't think we're going to see a lower low. There is a lot of support, I believe, at this zone where we broke out from. We did break out. We backtested with a big wick. I don't think the market is going to give people a chance to buy that bottom twice. But as soon as we make a lower low, things change. I don't think we're going to see a lower low though. I bought some love potions yesterday, but that's just because I'm breeding. And I want to preemptively buy the love potions. But we are still holding this channel. Even though it looked like we broke down, we're still holding this channel. It is a downward sloping channel, so nothing to be too excited about, but all in all, technically we should be heading to the top of the channel. Pixels did break out from the downward sloping trend line, but we are and did not make a lower low over here. We just came back down after a big breakout of the previous highs. We came back down to backtest the breakout point, which is a perfect backtest, and we have made a low there, but it looks like this is a slightly higher low, so not as bearish on the short term for Pixels. I think we just came back down to backtest this trend line. I don't think we're going to fall back down below this trend line. It's just more sideways action to build up support to go even higher. The bull market has begun. We've seen new all-time highs for Bitcoin. As I said, we've only been going up this entire year. This was January. Last big dip that we saw was in January, a 20% correction. And before that, for this entire bull run, we've only seen max 20% pullbacks. I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere along the way we start seeing bigger pullbacks. I mean, especially after a big run up like this without any pullbacks, 30%, even 50% pullback is on the table. But if you followed the strategy to buy 20% dips, you've bought every single dip. And I would wait. In 5 minutes, the hour candle will close. If it closes above this, there is a trade on the table to get to 70k, and that could make the other coins shoot out. Predictions for the end of the month. I mean, yeah, that is basically the predictions for the end of the month, is sideways action or down. There's not a lot of days left. I think sideways action, we're less likely to turn around here. We're here at the moment. We only made 10% pullback could be a turnaround point. We did make a slightly lower than 10% pullback. This could have been the pullback already. I don't see the volume candle on the low point indicating that this is a turnaround though. I think we're gonna make a slight pull up to 70k and continue lower to get the full 20% pullback. That does put us in no man's land, to be honest. We might go a little bit lower. We might even stop here at 60k, but I think 58k would be my bet. If the price pulls back quickly in one big candle to the downside, that would be a buy. But if it creeps down slowly, it could probably just keep on creeping down slowly. While all of this is happening, Bitcoin dominance is moving sideways. Nothing exciting happening with the Bitcoin dominance. I am expecting Bitcoin dominance to still go up to 57, 59k. Well, 57, 60k. 60%. We're basically in no man's land. Bitcoin dominance still moving up. The Bitcoin would be your safer bet if you're getting into anything. We have seen if the markets move up, Bitcoin has been moving up more in general. But there are the coins with the off chance of doing moonshots. But I think for the next day, 2 days, we might see some upside. A little bit of upside. But only once we, on Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin is the best place to look. Only on Bitcoin, once we like break 70k again, close above 70k, would I change my mind and say, okay, wait, we might be going higher. For now, I am calling for 70k. We'll see at 70k how we reach 70k. If we can close above 70k on the 4 hour, that looks like a break up. I think because in 2 minutes the 1 hour candle will close. And that's probably going to take us to 70k. Just quickly looking at Ron again. Yeah, and if it goes up, the other coins would also go up. All the altcoins are reacting on Bitcoin. Okay guys, is there any other coins that you guys would like me to take a look at before we do the giveaway? Got a Joltik in the chat. Are you staking on Ron? Yes. Like for the next year, 2 years, it's gonna be a bull run. There's gonna be dips. And instead of going in and out of the markets, I'll rather just hold on. I'll rather just hold on through the ups and the downs. Doesn't matter. We're gonna go higher, most probably, as the cycle of Bitcoin, as the halving is close by. We're following the same cycles as always, and I am aiming to take my profits only at the end of next year. What happens in between is noise. It doesn't matter. The only reason why you would want to worry about what's happening in between is looking for buying opportunities. And I think we can count ourselves lucky that the price is pulling back below the previous all-time high. It gives us a chance to accumulate more. I think a lot of people were thinking, because I did say back there, I think the price is going to go up to the previous all-time high, then do a pullback, but then we ended up doing a little consolidation above the previous all-time high, which led me to believe we might go higher. But as soon as we broke this wick, sending us lower than that wick, that was my bearish sign that it might not happen. We're going to see lower lows. So far that has happened, but this downtrend has been broken, so we'll see what's going to happen now in the next few days. Once we get to 70k, let's wait and see what happens there. You could preemptively get into Bitcoin and reevaluate at 70k if you want to stay in, or wait for that 20% dip. And don't take the possibility off the table that it might dip 50%. I don't think we'll see a more than 50% dip unless a war breaks out or something like COVID happens again. 50% dip would take us down to... 50% dip would take us down to 36k. 36k is the top of this consolidation, which is not off the table. Nothing drastic has to happen for Bitcoin to do this kind of correction. But I don't want to lead people to believe this would happen. This is just a possibility, so don't ape in yet. But yeah, any round number pullbacks, percentage wise, is always a good bet to take. 10% pullback, 20% pullback, 30% pullback. I'm not so sure about 40% pullbacks. I haven't seen many of those in the previous cycles. It's usually 10, 20, 30 or 50% pullbacks.